In these problems, we are being asked to choose the right unit of measure from these metric units for certain situations. So for example, in this first one, it says Juan's classroom is about 7 somethings wide, and you'd have a drop-down box if you did this in Alex that would give you some choices. Those choices would be these units of length, because when you're measuring how wide something is, that's a unit of length. And the common ones we often use in the metric system are millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. Meter is the basic unit of length. And here it says a meter is about the length of a baseball bat. So if you spread your arms apart, you could sort of put a meter in between your two hands. The rest of the units here use these prefixes. So kilo means 1,000. So 1 kilometer or kilometer is 1,000 meters, and that's quite a distance. You'd be walking for a while. It says here you'd walk 10 minutes to walk a kilometer. A centimeter, centi means 1/100th. So you take that meter and you chop it up into 100 little bits. And, it's a little less than an inch in those customary units. Here it says it's about the width of a pen. And a millimeter, that's 1,000th of a meter, so 1/10 of a centimeter. So you take a centimeter and chop it up into 10 parts, so tiny, about the thickness of a dime. So what's the appropriate unit to measure the width or the length of a classroom? Well, in this case, it's got to be meters. Centimeters, you'd have to, if you're trying to measure the width of a classroom in centimeters, I mean, you could do it. It would just be so many centimeters. It certainly wouldn't be 7 centimeters because you couldn't even fit a person in there. And if you chose kilometers, that would be like the biggest classroom in the world. So I doubt it's that. So here, the best unit to choose is meters. All right. Let's look at the next one. It says it took about 150 what somethings of water to fill the bathtub. So for units of volume, which is usually what we're measuring water in, the basic unit is the liter. And then the other unit we often use is milliliter, because with liquids, we're often looking at smaller amounts of liquid. So a milliliter is 1,000th of a liter. And a liter is, I mean, you're probably familiar with this. You've probably seen a liter bottle of water. It's a pretty big amount of water, but it's not huge. So you could hold it in your hand. You could probably drink it all in a little while if you wanted to. 1,000th of that is a pretty small amount. It's just, here it says about 20 drops of water. So if you're talking about something taking 150 to fill a bathtub, it wouldn't be milliliters. 150 20 drop little squirts would definitely not fill your bathtub, but 150 liter water bottles probably would. So this is going to be liters. And the next one says the school bus had a mass of about 9,000 something or others. So let's look at mass. And we use this word mass. We often use the word weight to refer to the same thing when we're thinking about how heavy something is. Technically, it's really mass that we're talking about when we're measuring kilograms or grams. The difference is that something has mass even when it's out in space. So if something is a kilogram on Earth, it's also a kilogram out in space where we think of it as being weightless. And when we talk about weight, we're really talking about the effect of that mass in relation to the Earth's gravity. But that's a technical point. So a kilogram is about how much a textbook weighs, and a gram is about the mass of a paper clip. So this is our basic unit, pretty small for mass. So paperclip has the mass of about a gram. 1,000 of those, a kilogram, is a textbook. So 1,000 paper clips weighs the same as a textbook. Makes sense. So if we're talking about a bus, that's something really big. We're not talking about 9,000 grams. That would just be 9 textbooks worth. We're talking about 9,000 kilograms. So that is a little bit of work with choosing the right metric unit of measure.